Hey there, all you cool, epic, and awesome fans. Welcome back. You're now listening to episode 32 of the Cool, Epic, Awesome podcast. My name is Matt, and I'm your co host.
And I'm their other co-host, Joe.
And for this episode, we have a double feature of two horror films, one of which being A Haunting in Venice, which released this past week. And I also recommended on the last episode that we check out The Exorcist from 1973, just because the Legacy sequel is coming out in less than a month, like 2 weeks, right?
I haven't seen the original one in a long time, honestly.
Yeah, and we'll get to that one at the end of the episode, but it held up very well, in my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, before we start, though, on A Haunting in Venice, I know if you guys have been listening, last episode we talked about The Sound of Music, because, Joe, you had a trip to Europe.
Which was nice.
So you got to see
Venice for itself, and a lot of the locations that they use in the movie, mostly in the beginning, are places that I actually got to see, like the I think it's called St. Mark's Square. They're in a lot. That's like that main area. I think he's having coffee with the lady there. That's like the huge square right by the water.
Yeah, no, I was talking about when you went to where The Sound of Music was filmed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about how I just sorry. But yeah, I did get to see a lot of that specifically for Sound of Music. A lot of the locations that they use, like the fountain and like the steps she walks up. That was really cool because it's like literally this. It looks exactly the same pretty much from when they filmed it.
Did you get to go on the hills that they had, or no?
I mean, we went to not. They didn't really say if there was specific hills they filmed on, but we did go in hills in the country later on. Not a part of that tour, but just in general.
Yeah, and even in the movie, it looked stunning. So
yeah,
it was probably in person crazy.
Oh my god, yeah, it was nuts.
So how did they have it set up? Was it sort of a tourist attraction where they advertise?
It's basically their town hall center.
But were they The Sound of Music was filmed here?
No? It's just a normal area in the town, and then if you don't know the movie, then you would have no idea. It's just it's just in their main circle area.
Yeah, that's cool though that you got to go out there.
The one was actually saying, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
So you know how Julie Andrews' character is very bubbly and outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
They said in real life, it was the opposite. She was more of the brooding, cold one, and that guy was more of the upbeat, more
Really?
Yeah, but she wanted people to remember her the other way. So that's was her request in the movie. They said the woman's actually in the movie at one point, when they're in the background somewhere.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems in general, you had a lot of fun on that trip.
Yeah, Europe's amazing.
Where else did you go besides?
We started in Venice, and then we did Austria, Germany. Then we went to a random ass country called Liechtenstein, which I've never even. It's the seventh smallest country in the world. Went there for a day, and then Switzerland.
Cool. Yeah, it's a different type of lifestyle over there.
Oh yeah, very different.
Yeah, but anyways, I guess to transition over to a Haunting in Venice. You mentioned you were in Venice, but to go over this film a bit, a basic plot. For those of you who don't know, it's actually a follow-up on the Agatha Christie novel series that Kenneth Branagh has been directing and starring in. So the first one was Murder on the Orient Express, and then Death on the Nile. This is the third one. And in this one, they switch it up to make it a horror. The first two were just murder mysteries. This is a horror murder mystery.
Yeah, I haven't seen the original two, but you can definitely tell there's a horror vibe going on in the movie.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is the best of the trilogy, by a pretty good margin. Even though it has the worst cast, in my opinion. But anyways.
Besides Michelle Yeoh, I feel there's no one really.
Yeah, I mean Tina Fey was good, but
Michelle Yeoh's in it for 20 minutes basically.
Yeah. But I like how Kenneth Branagh saw the critical reception wasn't that great for The first one did a little better. The Death Nile was kind of like a disaster. It didn't make a lot of money, and it didn't do critically well.
And now, if you look at the cast, it's like Armie Hammer, who's basically cannibal from what I've like everything that came out with him, and then that other dude now who's basically just like a bunch of women came out accusing him of stuff.
Letitia Wright's also in that cast, I think. Or no, maybe she might be in the first one. Not that.
Oh, you're right. She is on the Death Nile.
I'm not gonna compare like her.
No, I know, but there's just more controversy surrounding on people.
But I respect like how Kenneth Branagh was like willing to switch it up. He was like, all right, let's do a horror now. We'll change the whole genre. But at its core, it is the same thing. It's just Hercule Poirot, the detective. And these movies, for those of you who don't know, it's similar to Knives Out. That's like a more popular series if you've seen those, where it's each movie is a completely different cast and story. The only character that comes back is the detective. It's the same kind of thing here. So now it's like this lady's daughter died, and she thinks that there might have been foul play, and it also happens to be in this house that's haunted, and people think that it was a ghost might have done it and things like that.
Yeah.
So he basically comes out of retirement to try to figure this out. What did you think about how they handled like the horror aspects?
I was gonna agree with you. I feel like when they leaned into the horror, that's like when I enjoyed the movie the most. Like that's when I was most interested. But for the murder mystery part, I just kind of, I don't know. It just wasn't engaging enough for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that they didn't lean into the horror enough.
I think
they should have went all out with it.
Yeah.
I thought
I feel like it when they get to the seance part, like that's kind of where I feel like the horror peaks, and then like it's kind of revealed that like the daughter through the seance said like that I forgot what it was, but remember like basically it's like the daughter speaks through Michelle Yeoh's character saying that her father murdered her. Like after that part, and then she dies. Like I feel like it kind of I don't know.
Yeah, it did lose a bit of the like creepiness. I think the setting was very creepy. The house in general, and the fact that they're kind of like surrounded by water. So the only way out.
It is very like so at night. It is kind of like eerie-esque because like there's street lights, but it's not very lit. I mean, the restaurants and stuff like that.
Because of the storm in the movie, like they couldn't leave because they couldn't like go through the canals because of how rough the water was and stuff.
And so that's that does happen. Like mostly with flooding, like there'll be flooding and people have to like stay in because they can't,
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting aspect though.
Yeah.
But it's actually interesting. I don't know if I could really tell in the performances, but I was reading up on the movie a little bit, and apparently Kenneth Branagh was like, which I actually love Kenneth Branagh, by the way, but he was working with the like stunt team and like I don't know what the crew, and a lot of the things like where the lights would explode or like lights would go out or there'd be a bang, like he wouldn't tell the cast, so it would just happen, and then some of their responses were like
genuine,
like more genuine. Yeah,
like probably like the scene with the chandelier drops. I feel like that they definitely didn't tell them about that.
I don't know, that one maybe just because of like how dangerous of a stunt that is, but you never know. Do you like the character Poirot or no? Do you find him like annoying?
I don't know. I feel like a lot of them were very like generic. No one really like stood out to me particularly.
No, I'm saying like the main.
Oh, the main.
Like,
I'm sorry.
Like, do you like the detective?
I mean, he's cool. I feel like if I watched more of his other stuff, like the first two ones, I maybe would appreciate him a little more.
Yeah, because at first when I first watched like Murder on the Orient Express, I thought he was like super annoying. But he's like grown on me at this point.
Yeah, because I feel like if you establish a rapport with the character, at least like like the way he, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you could just tell he's like having a lot of fun just playing the role. It's like a goofy.
This is like
there are like a lot of comedy moments in the movie as well, which at some points it could take you out of it, but I think it was subtle enough that it was fine. And you have to kind of like realize how goofy this is, like his accent and like
He has a ridiculously long mustache, like comedically, like it doesn't even look real.
I know. But yeah, I guess to talk about favorite characters. If Michelle Yeoh was alive longer, I think I would have liked her the best because her character is very interesting.
Yeah.
How she has this connection. She's like a medium. She has this connection with the dead, but she's not like flashy or whatever. But I guess it probably would be Poirot, just because he gets the spotlight, and I really enjoy Kenneth Branagh.
And I feel like with the other characters, like we don't really like learn enough about them because there are kind of a lot of characters in the movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like I didn't establish enough with any of the other people enough so that I don't even remember half their names, like for me to really like enjoy them as a character.
Yeah. What was the deal with like Jamie Dornan's character? Like he had like this weird relationship with his son that the son had to like calm him down all the time.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know how it was like weird. It was like a little bit strange. But yeah, I kind of like speaking about that kid, I like what they did with the twist at the end, where he's kind of like the most clever one there.
Yeah.
In a way. But yeah, to get into spoilers, I guess. You find out that the mother was the killer, correct?
Yes.
So she had been basically poisoning her daughter. And then the maid accidentally like gave her too much because she didn't realize that it was poison, and then she ended up overdosing.
Yeah.
But it's revealed that the reason why she was doing this was because she was being blackmailed by someone, and it turns out that it was the kid.
Which is
I thought that was like a really cool twist at the end.
I mean, I definitely didn't expect it.
Yeah, what'd you think about how like they explained all the like ghostly apparitions and stuff?
I thought that was cool. I like that part. Like I don't know if you remember, there's a scene in the beginning where like they're telling like the story of it's like that like of like some little kid in Venice and something, and I forgot what the story is exactly, but it happens like within the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, where they do like the
play thing. Yeah. Like that was cool. I like when they like would lean into that stuff.
Yeah, but they throughout the movie, Poirot is like seeing things. He sees ghosts.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
stuff.
like with it, like, and then like
it's explained that it's because of this psychedelic honey that was in his tea. So, but it's also kind of up in the air, like whether
it's actually haunted or not. I feel like it's up to the audience to,
especially with like that final scene where the mother is basically getting chased out.
Yeah.
The top, and it like appears in the shot like the daughter who she killed was floating and pulled her down into the water. But we don't know if like that was Poirot
that's just
seeing things or if it was like actually haunted. I did kind of like how they left it up in the air, because if they would have just been like, yeah, it was never haunted to begin with,
I feel like that takes away all the fun of the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have a favorite scene?
Yeah, definitely the seance scene.
Yeah, I agree.
For multiple reasons. One is because of like it actually was genuinely creepy.
Scary. Yeah,
because of like, Michelle Yeoh's performance.
Yeah, and especially like I feel like that was like I remember like specifically with he's like I don't believe in any of this stuff, like this, like we shouldn't be doing this, and then the thing just drops. I was like, oh shit, like they're actually like they're gonna go for it, like it's gonna be kind of scary.
Yeah. And I also liked how I always like how the detectives, like also in Knives Out, this is something that happens like in that same seance scene, like Poirot basically like calls bullshit and like easily explains everything, and he's like, oh, there's a person in there with a remote control and they're typing the thing, and like I like how he's able to break down everything like so easily, and that's like within the same scene. But that's another example of them leaving it up in the air, because yes, the typewriter part was fake, but how do you explain Michelle Yeoh's character like speaking in the voice of the daughter?
So I guess they're gonna say that's the honey, but did he have the tea at that point?
I think so.
Yeah,
Actually, no. I think he has
no, he
tea after the first
After
death.
that, yeah. After they find her on
Yeah.
the statue, whatever the thing they throw off of.
Yeah, I'm assuming you had the same favorite scene, right?
Yeah, the seance.
I know that getting more into like real world things here. I know it didn't do that well at the box office. It made like 14 million domestic,
Really?
which I don't think the budget is that high. It'll probably like make its money back, especially like when it gets to streaming.
Yeah.
But it was like about on par with Death on the
The
Nile.
other ones?
The first one made the most money when it first came out because it
It
was like
makes.
it
I'll
was
look
like
it up.
something
Sorry.
new. It had like the first movie's cast is stacked. It's like
Who's in
Willem
the first one?
Dafoe, Johnny Depp, Daisy Ridley.
Where does it take place?
It's on a train.
Oh, it's like Death in the Ordinance or something like that.
No, Murder on the Orient
Right.
Express. You were close. You were close.
Yes.
But yeah, that cast is crazy. They have Michelle Pfeiffer, Willem Dafoe, Leslie Odom Jr., Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
Like compare that to the cast of this movie. It's like not even close.
Yeah, it's really only. I mean, Tina Fey and Michelle Yeoh, but she's only in it for like 20 minutes, and then that's it.
I guess they didn't want to make the budget too high, so they went with less talent, or maybe like,
I'm looking at the
big talent just didn't want to do it. To be honest,
Willem Dafoe, Daisy Ridley, Johnny Depp. Oh, the girl from Secret Invasion is in it. That like
Olivia
British
Colman.
lady. Yeah. Damn. So that actually is like compare. Yeah, you're right because that compared to the cast now. Do you think they're gonna do another one?
That's what I was gonna get to. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Is there like another? Aren't they based off of books though?
Yeah. There's like a bunch of Agatha Christie novels that they could pick from and make another movie if they wanted to. But I would like for them to make another because this is the third one and it's my favorite of the three. So if they continue to improve, then sure, I'd love to see.
What other books does she have?
I don't know. I just know she writes like a ton of murder mysteries. This one was apparently based on a book that she has. It's called like Halloween Party or something.
Oh, that makes sense. So when I looked it up, like the book Halloween Party was coming up.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, this one. There's like she's like a bunch of like millions of books.
Kenneth Branagh is such like a weird filmmaker. Like he has like absolute bangers, and then
what else has he made?
He does a lot of Shakespeare, actually.
Yeah.
If you look into his filmography as a director, I'll pull it up because I don't know it off the top of my head. Well, he directed the first Thor. That's what you would know.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh damn, he looks a lot younger without his fucking.
Yeah. Yeah, he did Much Ado About Nothing, Hamlet. I don't know, a couple other. Romeo and Juliet.
I thought he was a lot older.
Yeah, I like him as an actor and a director. He was also in Oppenheimer. He had a small role.
Oh really?
I don't know if you remember.
If you,
I'm pretty sure he's the. I could be mixing this up just because of how crazy the cast is. I think he's the guy that Oppenheimer puts the poison in the apple and gives to, like the professor. I could be wrong though.
I don't remember honestly.
But yeah, I like him as both an actor and a filmmaker.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they continue the series. Stuff. But like I understand why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Critically not.
I mean, it did review wise. I feel like it did okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry, not critically, but financially, it might just not make sense. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really. I mean, unless you have anything else to say, the other thing I was gonna ask, but you kind of got into it before, was like, were you in any of those areas when you were recently in Venice?
Yeah.
And how was it kind of like seeing this after just being there?
I mean, honestly, it kind of in person. It's obviously like a lot more. It's better, but that's granted. But I feel like honestly, they didn't capture like a lot of the like more iconic parts of it. Like in the beginning a little bit, but I honestly thought they were going to lean a little bit more into the setting of Venice. Because honestly, like people say you get lost in the streets of Venice. Like, there's a lot of like narrow streets, and you walk all over. Like, you don't. No one drives over there. You can't drive. You either have a speed taxi, you walk. So like you can like literally just walk around and get completely lost. So I thought they were gonna do it like a lean more into that a little bit, but I mean,
yeah,
they
I
ended
guess
up only
just
being
for plot reasons they had to like confine it to one house.
No, yeah, of course. I understand.
Yeah, and one thing
It
I
was
didn't
still
even
cool to
mention
see.
this, but
What?
like the cinematography and like how the film was shot was like beautiful.
Yeah.
It was so unexpected. Like all the, like the Dutch angles and just the way that the shots were framed. There's like a couple towards the beginning that were giving me like Wes Anderson kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Like especially the called the shot of like him on the roof and it's like he's drinking tea in that little gazebo and it's like perfectly framed in the center and it's super colorful shot.
Yeah. But that's how all like I see it's like very narrow and like small. Like that's how all the buildings are.
Yeah, because they take advantage of the space.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's all I gotta say. I enjoyed it a lot more than I expected.
Yeah, it was cool seeing it like after going to Venice.
But yeah, to get to my rating though, I gave it a 3.5 star, 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was very impressed overall, especially in comparison to the past two films. I think the first one I gave it 2.5 star, and then the second one I gave it 2 star. So it's like a huge jump.
Yeah.
It's not like one of the best movies of the year or anything, but very solid.
Yeah, no. I gave it 3 stars, so 6 out of 10. I definitely like enjoy the setting and like the horror aspects of it, but I feel like I didn't enjoy it like as much as you did.
Yeah,
I didn't not buy it, but I don't know. I wasn't 100% sold on the like murder mystery part of it.
Mm-hmm. It's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I don't
know if it's just because like my only exposure to like murder mystery stuff is Knives Out, honestly. So like I feel like Knives Out is like the pinnacle of like murder mystery.
You know.
Well, yeah, I guess Scream too. I mean, this is honestly more in line with something like Scream, I guess.
Yeah.
Than not to shit on the movie, but in terms of quality, like you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. But all right, I guess now we can move on. We have a couple bits of movie news, mainly just trailers, and then a couple other things we wanted to go over. The first one we got was a trailer for Eli Roth's next film, which is called Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And it's actually, the film is based on like a spoof trailer that he directed.
Really?
He directed like a fake trailer for a movie called Thanksgiving, which was like a Thanksgiving horror movie, and they're making it into a real movie, which is kind of cool.
I feel like it's gonna be like this is my prediction, was that I think it's gonna be more like it's gonna be like a Native American dude like just murdering all these people.
Oh, because they're celebrating.
Yeah, that's my prediction.
That's actually a pretty good. I didn't even think of that, but
it's gonna be like I feel like it's like probably the people who've lived there like forever, and it's like some guy that like his family was killed by like their ancestors or something. That's what I just assumed, but I mean that would be pretty cool if they did that. Honestly,
yeah, that was
cool. Actually. Like you kind of not like you don't sympathize with the villain, but like you understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There were a couple cool kills in the trailer, though. I like the one where he sticks the person's face to the door.
Freezer. Yeah,
there's like a lot of blood. I'm not the biggest fan of Eli Roth. I don't know if you've seen any of his movies.
But... Did he do what's the one where they all go to like the woods? Not the wood. They all go to like some random ass country, and they get captured by like the cannibalistic
Green Inferno.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of that movie, but yeah, he did that.
I watched that when I was like in high school and like freaked me out. Now I watch it and like it's kind of funny, like how ridiculous some of the stuff is. But
he also did a movie, which good thing you didn't watch this before you went to Europe, but it's called Hostel, and it's about like the hostels,
living in a hostel,
murdering in there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but that one actually is like his most famous work, and I'm kind of interested in it. But this looks pretty good, surprisingly. I mean, the only thing that worries me is the top billing is Addison Rae and Patrick Dempsey. Patrick Dempsey is a good actor. I don't mind him at all. Yeah, I like him. But I mean, Addison Rae, I don't know. Did you watch her movie?
No, but I heard it was like she was pretty ass in it.
Yeah, me and a couple of my buddies at school just watched it when it came out and like drank a couple beers. Well, it was like a pretty funny experience. But she's like not that bad, to be honest.
I mean, like realistically, how deep is her character going to be in his fucking like? She's probably just going to be like the.
She's gonna scream a lot.
Yeah,
probably.
that's You know what I mean?
But yeah, but this is definitely I feel like a more notable film than her last one, which was like a straight to Netflix. Like what was it? He's All That or She's All That? I forget. I think He's All That. But
it was like a remake of another one.
Yeah, right, yeah. It was like a spin on the She's All That. I forget which one is which, but one of them comes first.
Yeah.
Pretty famous movie. But yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I mean,
when
she's
does
not
it
really
actually come out? Like
I think like
on
Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's the day, but that week.
Oh, okay.
Which is I think the same week as it's like a couple things coming out that week.
Let me look it up.
That might be Killers of the Flower Moon too, which we'll discuss later.
Do you think they're gonna do an intermission during the movie?
Yeah, we'll talk about that once we get to that later.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess that's really it. I mean, all these trailers are going to be up on our Instagram, so if you want to take a look and see for yourself what you think. But yeah, besides that, we also got what were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I'm looking at the cast of the guy Milo Mineham, the dude from remember like the zombies movie on Disney Channel?
Oh, yeah.
He's in it.
That's pretty gas.
Him, Addison, it's Patrick Dempsey. I like the guy Rick Hoffman. He was in like Suit. He's in a bunch of TV shows.
Yeah, he looked familiar, but I just couldn't like pinpoint.
Yeah, he's good. But then like after that, Patrick Dempsey. Yeah, I don't know anybody else.
We'll see.
I mean, it doesn't mean it will be bad. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just cool how it's like what's it called? Like there's horror movies set during like a lot of different holidays. Like there's Black Christmas,
Christmas,
obviously Halloween,
obviously.
So like it's like a first for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus. But anyways, another trailer we got, which I don't know what your interest level is in this, but they're doing a Godzilla, like a MonsterVerse spin-off show on Apple TV.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised. It seems like it has a pretty good budget.
Big budget, yeah. You see two kaiju in it in the first trailer, which is
not pretty unexpected. But I guess
it actually looks good. Like I'm actually interested.
Yeah, and I love what they did with the casting. So Kurt Russell that was sick. And Wyatt Russell are father son in real life, and in the TV show, they're gonna play the same character during different time periods. Which is pretty cool. I didn't really get like a sense of what the plot is gonna be. What's the actual name of the series? It's like Monarch Legacy of Monsters or something.
I think it's going to be about like. I mean, they haven't really revealed anything, but I feel like it's something to do with like them trying to find a way to like habitat them, like because if they say something in the trailer along the lines of like coexisting or something, it's gonna have to do with that. I think like them trying to find someone to put the animal, like not animals, but
the kaiju. I wonder how well they're gonna like connect this to the next movie, which is the Godzilla
I
X
doubt
Kong.
it's gonna be probably very loosely. It's just gonna deal with the same organism. Like the events will probably be the same, but I doubt this has any effect on the movie.
I feel like it might lead into it because, like, why set it in the universe if you're not gonna connect? Or at least have some threads that are connecting.
But like honestly, like it's not like people were there for the human characters, So like it's if people miss out on shit like in the series, I feel like it's not gonna be that big of a deal.
Yeah, that's true. And also like the plot of these things isn't that important really anyway.
Yeah, it's like just the monsters.
We just want to see monsters fight.
Yeah. Speaking of kaiju, have you actually seen a lot of the clips, not clips, but like they released a trailer and images of the new like Toho Godzilla movie?
No, I know you mentioned it last episode actually, but I saw a couple not clips, just images.
The images look sick, yeah.
Yeah. But also, like, the only one of those Godzilla movies that I've seen
is Shin, right?
Shin, which I was pretty disappointed with.
Well, they made like all the original ones.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Then I've seen a couple of. I think I saw. Well, obviously I've seen the first Godzilla, and I think I watched the sequel.
Yeah.
Um,
but I mean, it looks. It basically. Did I tell you the plot of it? I forgot if we spoke about it.
Yeah, you did. But if you could just repeat it again in case like whoever's listening.
Basically, after World War II, so like Japan's military is basically depleted, and Godzilla kind of shows up. That's why it's called Godzilla -1.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a pretty cool concept because like, what do they do? You know. Is that released in this year?
December 1st, I believe it's coming out in the U.S. I don't know when. It's probably earlier in Japan.
You think it'll be to theaters or kind of like a straight to?
Nah, it'll. I'm assuming it'll be at least in the city. I'm sure it'll be in the theaters.
Yeah,
but like a random ass places, probably not.
Yeah, but anyways, for the trailer in general, I was just surprised by like the fact they're going all in with like the VFX and they're using the monsters. Like, it's not just like set in the world of Godzilla and he doesn't even show up.
I thought like there'd be like a reference or what I mean, but they don't shy away from it.
Yeah. Another trailer though that we got, which is one that we've been anticipating for a while because the movie comes out in 2 months and had no marketing up until this point.
Aquaman, yeah.
Aquaman
Which I know 2. you didn't like the trailer. I thought it looked pretty good.
I don't know. It just looked kind of mid to me. Like, I understand, like, some parts were cool. I think Black Manta looks cool. Some of the fighting looked cool, like Aquaman.
The suits look awesome.
Like, to me, watching that trailer, like, it looked like an SNL sketch at points. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know. It was just, like, too goofy, and I get why, like, I get that Aquaman kind of is like that. Although I am a big fan of Patrick Wilson, so I'm glad that he's going to be back in a bigger role.
Yeah.
Maybe not bigger, but still a big role.
Apparently he's it's like a buddy
like a brothers
team up, like a Loki and Thor type of thing.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how like his character of Ocean Master is gonna like why would he join forces with Aquaman? I guess to fight against Black Manta.
Yeah, I think just because he's gonna like. I mean, he's still Atlantean at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's cool how they upgraded his suit though. Black Manta looks sick now, and he gets his own trident. It's like this dark trident, which is cool.
His suit looks really cool.
The only thing is, it seems like his character, like his motives aren't really that intriguing to me. He's just like in the trailer, he has a line like, "Aquaman, I'm gonna kill you and everyone you love." Like, it's just so generic, you know. Like, why does he hate Aquaman?
Because he killed his dad.
He didn't kill his dad. But also he was like a bad guy, like doing bad shit, and Aquaman stopped it.
But he's like, I don't know if you know in the comics, like Black Manta's like hates. He probably hates Aquaman more than like any other villain hates. Like, he absolutely despises Aquaman. In the comics, he kills like his dad, his son. He cuts his arm off. He kills Mera. Like, it's not like in other, you know how like Batman, Superman, like
maybe Joker. I mean,
like the Flash and Reverse Flash. Like, he just more like torments them and shit. Like, Aquaman straight up just wants to like kill him.
Yeah.
I hope. I mean, I don't know if they will, but do you think they're gonna actually kill his kid?
Yeah. What is the deal with that? So he has a baby from Mera.
Yeah.
She's barely in the trailer, and I understand why, because the Amber Heard like controversy and stuff. But didn't she win the court case? Yeah,
but it's like it kind of like both they like basically at the end of the day, what I assumed is they both just abused each other. Like, they both were abusers. So they kind of both are like not, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I know people were saying that they might kill that kid, right?
Yeah, because in the comics, like, that's basically all his kid is basically known for doing is being killed by Black Manta. So I mean, I don't know if they actually will.
I feel like
I feel like James Wan like would do it. Like, he doesn't give a fuck, but I don't know, because this movie really doesn't matter. I hope they do it.
Yeah, James Wan doesn't even give a fuck at this point. Apparently, he's like so tired of like with the reshoots and
I remember like someone commented because they reused a shot from the first movie in like the trailer, and someone asked him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, I know, it's like ridiculous."
Yeah, he like doesn't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like that will be interesting if Black Manta killed his son.
Yeah.
Will they do it though? Maybe. I know people are saying that, like Grace Randolph, who's like not a journalist, but she's like a scooper. She said that people had walked out of test screenings and that it got like corroborated by other people. Apparently, there's like a scene in the movie that had people like walk out. So maybe it could be the baby dying. Because it is pretty dark.
Yeah.
Or it could just be the movie's that bad that people just walked out.
Yeah, it's definitely just bad. I mean, that's kind of old. I feel like if you're not expecting it, it is kind of nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, and also we don't know like how it plays out. Like, I mean, not that there's any good way to kill a baby, but if you like stabbed it in the face with
no, I don't think they're gonna. It wouldn't. It would. They're not gonna have it rated R. It's probably gonna happen off screen or something.
Yeah. We'll see though. I mean, I'm willing to give it a chance. I love James Wan. The first Aquaman was okay.
Yeah.
I know it made $1 billion. This is not going to come anywhere near that unless, like, in China they actually go crazy with it.
I mean, I don't know, dude. There might be a bunch of like 50-year-old like dads that think this shit looks amazing and go all the way out to the theater.
I honestly have no idea how Aquaman, the first one, made that much money. Like,
I like the first one. It's like fucking.
Yeah,
it's like it's like water Star Wars. It's like Star Wars underwater, basically.
I mean, I guess I would maybe say more like Game of Thrones underwater.
You know what I mean? Same like
with like the different oceans and stuff. But yeah, whatever. We'll see. Whenever that comes out, December or something, we'll talk about it on here.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny how you mentioned before, like the movie means nothing because they're just rebooting anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And it's pretty much confirmed. Is he playing Lobo?
Well, I don't know. I think he's returning to the DCU, but they didn't say if he's going to stay as Aquaman or. I think the door's open for whatever. If this movie performs very well, I have a feeling they'll just keep him as man.
I feel like he suits. What you call it better though?
Lobo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also feel like James Gunn was probably gonna want to do more of like a golden age Aquaman, like with the blonde hair and not like this like rugged.
I'm not this is a bad like I actually like Jason Momoa's Aquaman.
Yeah, so do I. But it's not like traditional Aquaman how it is in the comics, and it seems like that's sort of the vibe that James Gunn is going for.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
But anyways, there was one more trailer, which was a movie that I've heard a bit of buzz about throughout this year, just because it's an A24 film and it's produced by Ari Aster.
Yeah.
And it's called Dream Scenario. Stars Nicolas Cage. I don't know if you've heard a lot about the movie before seeing the trailer.
But, I saw it.
Yeah, it basically follows this professor played by Nicolas Cage, and randomly everyone in the world starts dreaming of him. He appears in everyone's dream. So he starts becoming famous because like everyone just sees him in their dreams, and he's not doing anything, he's just standing there.
Yeah.
But it seems like the way they're gonna play it is like
he eventually starts like
it's gonna get dark. Like he's gonna start like killing them in their dreams and stuff.
Yeah.
And especially with that Ari Aster producing it.
Yeah, I agree.
It does seem
it's
like
definitely gonna take a dark. There's no way it's not gonna turn dark at some point.
It is a really cool idea for a story.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
You could take it a lot of ways with what you do with it.
Yeah.
You know, it seems like they're gonna go a little bit into like how Nick Cage's character like deals with the new stardom that he has. It seems like he's like eating it up.
Yeah.
But then by the end, he's probably gonna wish like that this shit never happened.
Yeah, most likely. I feel like he's gonna deal with like kind of similar, not similar, but with what is it? What am I thinking of? The Jordan Peele movie that came out.
Get Out.
Yeah, no, not Get Out.
Nope.
Last year. No, yeah, with like the ideas of like fame and like what comes with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems very interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Nick Cage is very hit or miss with me. So we'll see.
I've been liking more of his recent stuff.
I know you watched that other movie that he had that came out this year.
What?
But you didn't really like it.
Oh,
One with him and Joel Kinnaman.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Joel Kinnaman's character is like that. It's just his wife's giving birth, and he's in the parking lot looking for a parking spot, and then out of nowhere, like, Nicolas Cage's character just goes in his car and like, with no context, just like hijacks him, and they don't really explain like why he's there or anything.
Yeah.
So I just kind of, I don't know.
How was his performance though in it?
I mean, he's good. He's kind of like over the top, like very eccentric, kind of, like what do you think he would be? But it was, I don't know, it was like a little like, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. There's like a scene where like they're on the phone and like maybe it's just because I work in a hospital, but like the wife's like because she's giving birth, and like randomly like every single doctor's just in there like talking at the same time on the phone, like in the back. I don't know. It's just like this is a little too like on the nose. They could just say that she's giving birth. I don't need like the fucking doctors on the phone and you know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, he's been like getting a lot of work recently.
Yeah, I feel like he's gonna be really good in this.
Yeah, he does seem like he's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So, all right, yeah. The trailer doesn't reveal too much. It just like basically goes through like what the plot summary, like I said. Just this guy starting to appear in people's dreams. But yeah, that's it for trailers. There's a couple other things I wanted to talk about, which you could take the reins on this next one, but it's the fact that the One Piece live actions got renewed at Netflix.
And it's actually like it's doing very well, like in terms of viewership. Like, and even mom is my mom who like has nothing. She doesn't watch anime or no. Like she watched the live action and she enjoyed it. So I mean, it's obviously reaching the people because the show is meant to reach people who wouldn't watch the anime. So I feel like it's pretty much doing its job. So,
do you have any like hopes for season 2?
I don't know what like there's just because there's still a lot of stuff they kind of didn't cover yet in season 1, like stuff with Luffy's dad and like other characters, like the guy they tease at the end. I don't know, you're not gonna watch it, but they tease somebody at the end who's actually a character from season 1. So they're still not even done with that. And season 2 is like, wow, it's longer than season 1, and it's like a whole different like. It takes place in a different area and it's different. So I don't know how they're gonna do it. I feel like they should expand the episodes to like 10 to 12. Like I don't think 8 episodes is gonna be enough.
Yeah, especially because like the anime,
there's just so much story they have to tell. Yeah. Like even I thought that they did a pretty good job, but they still missed a decent amount of stuff in season 1.
So I know in the anime there's like a time skip at some point, right?
Yeah, not for like a while though.
Oh, because I feel like they might have to do that at some point because of like the actors are gonna age out of their roles pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because Luffy is like he's not like a child, but he's like a kid. He's like young.
Young, yeah. I mean, the actor is young. He's 20.
Yeah.
So he'll be
fine in it for like the next like 5 or so years.
5, 6, yeah. But we'll see. I'm surprised, like even like Oda, the guy who writes the manga, he's going to be involved again in season 2, and I don't think he's gonna. And they said they want to do like up to like I saw stuff like up to 12 seasons, which I mean I doubt that's going to happen, but they have them. They have the material to. If they really want to, they could continue and the stuff will also probably be good because it's already proven to be good.
The only problem is a lot of times with these Netflix shows you see, like, what Netflix show has like more than 3 seasons? Like Stranger Things.
And then Sex Education I think is going to be 4th season, but that's ending.
And like Big Mouth.
Big Mouth has like 7 seasons? I don't know why.
It's like a very small amount of shows that end up getting renewed that long. So.
But the thing is, I feel like it's different with One Piece because they have like. Sorry, I'm reading something, but it's not like they have to worry about what they're going to do next. Well, everything's there already.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it just depends on like the money. If the show does well, the actors are going to want more money. The directors are going to want more money. So it just depends like how much money this is going to generate for them in comparison to like how much they have to pay their
I
talent.
feel like it's kind of like taking off like a Stranger Things kind of like I'm not just saying that because I'm a One Piece fan. Like I do generally feel like it's all over the place.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot. So
even when I went to Italy, they had advertisements in Italy for the apparently it's one like in Europe, like the anime is very popular. Like the French, like I don't know if it's prime minister or president, apparently is like a massive One Piece fan, and like the author of One Piece drew him like a huge mural and like gave it to him. It's very popular. So I don't think it'll ever be an issue of like viewership because this one season's good, and they already have a built-in fan base that they know that's gonna watch it anyway.
Yeah.
So. But we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, I know you said it's written already, right? Season 2?
Apparently it's written already, yeah. The director said they wrote the first 3 seasons.
That's good, because then it's like once the strike stops, they could just get their feet on the ground right away.
I'm hoping that because it did well, like they'll be like, okay, like you guys can do, they'll expand. Like how many episodes is Stranger Things?
I feel like it's around 8. I don't remember. Maybe 10. I don't know.
9.
Yeah, so it's not like, 8, it's similar.
Damn.
We'll see. I wanted to move on though. There's a couple other quick things. Yeah. The budget for the Marvels got revealed. At first,
it was like 100. It was 130 million originally.
So then, when they said that, I was like, all right, that's not that bad. Like they could easily make their budget back.
Yeah.
But then Disney had to clarify because apparently those reports were false, and the budget's actually like 219 million, which is like almost 100 mil more. But
yeah. Well, that's with that isn't with. It's actually, so they said it's 270 million technically, but because like they got a tax break with the UK government, it's like they're picking up like 55 million of it, so it's like 100. What you said, 119.
219.
219. I'm sorry, but
it's just still like a lot.
It's still a lot, yeah. I mean, it needs to make basically 500 million to break even, which it should on but we don't know what's been going on with Marvel, and they've been putting out pretty shit lately. So, but I mean, even if it is bad, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the director's good though, so she's pretty talented. I know she came out and said like, "Oh, when I came into this, like I understood this is Kevin Feige's movie, and I tried to have, it's
not the best thing to
hear, especially from like the perspective of the creators."
Director, yeah.
But
I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean the movie's gonna be bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think it's gonna be fine. Like I think it'll be better
fun.
than
it looks more interesting than most of the stuff like that's been coming out.
Yeah, I think Kamala Khan's a pretty cool character. And
have you watched Miss Marvel or no?
Yeah, all the Marvel I watched.
I feel like a lot of people are gonna like her.
Yeah,
like she's kind of like a like kind of how Tom Holland is very eccentric about his character. Like she's even more, in my opinion. Like she's a fucking writer on the comic now.
I know, that's pretty cool.
Which is nuts. Yeah.
They changed Kamala's origin in the comics now, so she is a mutant.
She's
just
a mutant.
Like in the show.
But apparently, like she was always originally going to be a mutant, but they didn't do it because, like at the time, because she's pretty recent. Like she came out in 2000.
Yeah,
in the 2000s, she's like pretty recent. Like as a character.
And Ironheart are like the two really recent ones that got brought to the big screen.
But I feel like Ironheart's like really not that popular. Like Miss Marvel's like actually mad popular.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of people like, at least like girls I know that like are into Marvel like love her.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I hope it does good because I did like Miss Marvel. I hope they do season 2, but
yeah, we'll see. I mean, we're not going to hear any news on like stuff like that until the strike's over. But
well, apparently they're going to agree. They're talking today.
All right, good.
So
hopefully at least before the year end. Like I would hope it would be sooner than that, but
yeah. I feel like at this point, like how ridiculous could the writers' demands be that they don't want to? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. But yeah, well, it'll sort itself out. This is what, like
Yeah.
the third or fourth episode that we've done during the strike.
Yeah. It hasn't
Maybe
really
more.
been, but I feel like we're gonna have it because as soon as like it ends, we're gonna have a shit ton of like DC stuff, like with Superman, and like we're gonna start hiring more people. Honestly, that's like probably the biggest thing like in terms of news, because I feel like we were right on the brink of like where DC was gonna start really like getting hiring people and casting and stuff. I mean, we still got like a decent amount of cast for Superman, but
yeah, for sure. But I wanted to move.
You can move on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, just to keep it flowing. But there was one more big piece of news, which was we got the final reveal of the runtime for Killers of the Flower Moon, which is Scorsese's next film, and it's sitting at a runtime of 3 hours and 26 minutes, which is it's going to be the longest movie that I see in a movie theater for sure. You're talking with trailers and things. It's like a 4 hour, sitting in the theater for 4 hours. I don't know how I'm gonna get through that shit, bro. To be honest, but I'm gonna have to.
Do you think they'll have an intermission?
No, probably not. It would be kind of smart, to be honest, but I don't know. Like it's just like obviously Scorsese is one of the goats, but make like a limited series at that point. Like 3 hours.
Honestly, you're right. Yeah,
and 26 minutes is like too long for a movie.
I agree.
You know, or split the movie into 2 parts.
Yeah, 290 and 90. But I guess this was originally never going to come out in theaters, right?
I know it's like an Apple original, so I'm pretty sure it's going to go to their service. I'm not 100% sure about that because with like big names like Scorsese, they can kind of get what they want. So he might have made a deal where it's like
I feel
it has to be in
they were
theaters.
probably just like, yeah, you can make it as long as you want.
Yeah. That's one of the good things about Apple and Netflix, those 2 streaming services in general, is there's no like, you know how like Disney Plus, like anyone who wants to make something on their service, like Disney has to have the like overall like last call on things. They could say what you can and can't do. Netflix and Apple, they're not like movie studios, so they could just be like, do whatever the fuck you want. That's why like you're seeing Fincher go to Netflix. Scorsese has done something for Netflix already. And then Apple this year is gonna have Napoleon from Ridley Scott.
Oh yeah, they are gonna have Napoleon.
And Killers of the Flower Moon from Scorsese, which is kind of cool.
But is Napoleon is that like didn't that get delayed?
No, that's this year.
No.
That one looks sick.
Yeah, I'm actually excited because that's like where my next trip I want to go to is France.
Yeah,
that'll be cool.
But all right, 3 hour and 26. So
yeah, it's nuts.
We'll deal with that whenever. I guess we'll move on. Now we could do our list for the week, which you recommended it last week. You gave the list idea.
Those are our favorite horror movies. So mine, I kind of didn't like franchises, but it's more like if I do it by movie, it's still like okay because it's like 10 different franchises. But you know, did you have any like repeat ones or no?
Not within the same franchise. I didn't.
Yeah.
So you could start off. You start because it was your list. So you could say your 10.
Just want to make sure I have 10. Oh yeah, I have 10. Okay, so my 10th franchise, well, like the movie in general, I had was actually It. So I know like some people don't really like the second part, but I actually really enjoyed the first It.
Yeah, so did I.
And Skarsgård does a fantastic job, and I really like the design.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Yeah, I love the new Pennywise design. It like took the classic and just did its own thing with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, my number 10, I had Hellraiser, the original. You got Pinhead and the Cenobites coming on the big screen for the first time. he's since become like a horror icon.
Yeah.
Then you have the story with like Kirsty Cotton and her dealing with like the fact that her mother is bringing guys back to the house and killing them in order to like bring back
her like God, yeah, she cheated on with.
Yeah, it's like it's a really like messed up story. And it has really cool practical effects, especially with the Cenobites and the way that they murder people. So yeah, it's number 10.
Yeah, for number 9, actually, I Get Out, which is probably like the newest horror movie on here. It's not like not a traditional horror movie in the sense, but I feel more like a psychological horror, but still very good.
Yeah, that's interesting because on my list I don't have any of those like newer elevated horror. Mine is more of like all kind of
classics. Most of mine is like classics, but that was the only one to like. I just think Get Out is such like a. I don't mean to. I don't throw this word around lightly, but it's pretty like. I wouldn't want to say revolutionary, but in terms of like, I feel like at the time we've never seen a movie like that. Like when it first came, I feel like when it first came out, it was like such a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And it definitely like inspired other movies past that.
Yeah.
But yeah. At number 9 for me, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but I have the Dario Argento directed Suspiria from 1977.
The original one?
Original. It's basically follows this girl who is in this ballet school, and there's just like some evil presence going on, like while she's there.
Yeah.
But it's just the movie is like visually stunning. The use of color and sound throughout the movie was amazing. It's like one of the best uses of color I've seen in a movie, like rivaling Blade Runner 2049. Again, I haven't seen this movie in a while, to be honest, but I just remember.
Did you watch the remake?
Yeah, I did watch the remake. I don't think it's as good, but it's still solid. But yeah, I do like Argento a lot. So
yeah,
that was another like classic kind of from 77. So
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I was like zooming out. But for number 8, I actually had Hellraiser. I mean, you pretty much summed it up. I love the Cenobite designs and like the body horror, not body horror, but just the practical effects. Like, I remember specifically there's a scene like in the beginning when I don't know if it's when he dies or when he like comes back to life, but he just kind of like liquefies in the attic. You know what I'm talking
about? I think I do.
I don't know if it's like he's dying.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's when the blood first like drips down.
Yeah.
And then like it starts to form into something, which is Frank. Skinless Frank.
Yes.
That was your 8, right?
Yes.
Okay. So 8, I had The Thing, another classic.
Yeah.
John Carpenter directed from 1982.
I love the
stars Kurt Russell. We talked about it on the podcast before.
Yeah. Apparently they're doing some form of a sequel or something.
I wonder if Carpenter will come back.
I think he's involved.
Well,
like he recently said something about it.
Yeah, now that you say that, I think I kind of do remember that. But yeah, it's like some of the best use of practical effects in a movie. It's like obviously that's like what it's really known for, the creature design. And when we had our list a couple episodes back of like our top 10 creature designs, I think we both had the creature from The Thing on our list too.
Yeah.
So
June 1st it said Thing 2. John Carpenter says we may be getting Thing 2. The Thing 2.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, I've been sworn to secrecy, okay, but there may be, I don't know. If there will be, there may, I don't know, that doesn't really make sense, but yeah. I mean, if he's saying that, he's probably involved, and I doubt they would make something without his, involvement in it. But yeah. For number 7, I put The Conjuring, which
really,
yeah. I mean, I haven't watched this in a very long time, probably since like high school. But I remember like that scaring the fucking shit out of me when I was a kid.
Yeah, they're making like one more now. I don't know if you've seen the other.
No, I've only seen the first one. I heard they kind of drop off, and
yeah, 2 is solid. 3 kind of
the
sucks.
first one I really liked.
Yeah, the first one was like another one that was kind of like new of its kind. And that came out at an age where, for us, where we were like scared as fuck.
Yeah. Of those, like what, 10, 12-ish?
Yeah. So, but I don't know if you've The Nun 2 just came out, which is like in the Conjuring universe.
Yes, I did. I haven't seen it, but I saw it just came out. It's doing well too. I saw.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it, and the like main character from The Nun is gonna be in the next Conjuring movie, so it's kind of like
really?
the spin-offs kind of adding up to something, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wonder what the story will be, but yeah, that was your 7.
Yeah.
All right, my 7 is 1973, The Exorcist, which we're actually going to talk about later on in this episode. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm going to share my thoughts on it later on.
Yeah. And then for number, what is it, 6 now?
Mm-hmm.
I had Sinister. One of my favorite, like, I love Ethan Hawke. I love, Scott Derrickson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one I feel like we were introduced to when we were younger.
Yeah, but I've rewatched, and that has held up for me.
Yeah, like
Bagul. Yeah, it's just generally like it's just like a fucking creepy ass movie, dude. I don't know, it just something about it always gets me.
Yeah, I remember being really scared of it when we watched it when we were younger.
It wasn't like Bagul like itself that scared me. It was just like the movie itself. The tapes are like fucking terrifying. Like the dude with the lawnmower.
Yeah, that one was tough.
Yeah. But yeah.
All right. And then my 6. This one's probably higher on your list, but I had Evil Dead 2.
Yeah. I feel like you've seen more horror than I have, though.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see when I get onto my later stuff.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if I've seen this stuff.
It's obviously a classic. It's just fucking insane.
Yeah.
I love Bruce Campbell. And I love Sam Raimi. He's one of my favorite directors. So them coming together and just making this absolutely batshit movie.
Crazy, yeah.
The reason why it's not higher is because it wasn't like scary necessarily.
It's not really, it's not a very scary movie.
It's definitely like there's nothing like it,
No, not at all. What do you think? I'm just a little off topic. What do you think is the scariest movie in the Evil Dead franchise? And honestly, I feel like my answer is going to surprise you.
Probably either 2013 remake or the most recent, but I would probably lean towards the 2013.
Yeah, I was going to say the 2013 one is probably, I think, is the scare. Like that one leans the most into like the horror. Not horror, but like it's actually like, I don't know. For some reason, that one I feel like was the scariest.
Yeah, it's more dark, definitely. Yeah, it's not as campy as like the other ones, which is it's good in its own way. But
no, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, you're up to we're getting the top 5 now.
5, 5. So I have 5. This is a little like weird, but Alien.
Not a bad pick.
Not what most people come to think of when they hear the word horror, but that was another one as a kid. And I mean, I was very interested in it because it was like like an alien movie, but it scared the crap out of me. And the alien design is just fucking amazing.
Of course, yeah. I love Alien, but I didn't include it on my list because there's a couple on here that like if you go to my Letterboxd and put in like horror genre and then like sort by my highest rated, like some of those didn't make it. Like Black Swan, it's technically a horror, but it's not on my list.
I mean, I could have put Mother technically, but that's like
Mother. That's another one.
I didn't put a horror. Yeah.
Alien is another one that technically would be on, but I just wanted to make my list more like the traditional horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
My number 5 though is actually Carrie from 1976, which it's obviously a classic.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the movie, but I watched it for the first time like last year probably, and I was just like blown away by it, especially that insane scene at at the end. The movie is just like heartbreaking. Like what they do to Carrie and the pig's blood. Like the way that they like humiliate her and shit. And then how she retaliates is like that scene where she locks all of the students and herself into this building and like sets the whole shit ablaze. Is like such a haunting scene.
Have you watched like the newer, like the remake?
There's a couple remakes. I haven't seen them, but yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very like looked over or overlooked horror movie when people talk about like the classics.
Yeah.
So that's my number 5.
For number 4, I had The Exorcist, which I think is just a classic. And for the time that it came out, I feel like that's really what I'm looking like when I was thinking about this list. Like, obviously the movie is very dark, but it would be dark if they released like that now with the lines that are in it. I feel like it would be controversial now. Like, they came out in
73.
Yeah, 73. Like, especially like the one scene that resonated. I mean, we'll actually, I don't want to get into it because we're going to talk about it like when we, when we discuss it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. To move on to my number 4, I have Scream, which I actually rewatched last night with my girlfriend because I'm dressing up as Ghostface this year for Halloween, so I wanted to refresh myself on his mannerisms for when I spook people. But it is crazy because this is a Wes Craven directed film, which he also directed A Nightmare on Elm Street, which you'll see later on my list. And I was like writing out my review for Scream last night, and it hit me that like Wes Craven redefined horror like twice within his own lifetime, which is like a crazy thing to think about. You get like in Scream this sort of not fourth wall breaking, but winking at the audience type of horror that like horror and film geeks are gonna like, they just love it. And it's not something that you haven't seen scripts that smart at the time for horror movies. A lot of it was schlocky, and I don't know. You have one of the best final girls in horror.
Yeah.
Cindy Prescott. I forgot like how savage she is. She at the end she literally like shoots the killer in his head.
Yeah.
And like she just does not give a fuck.
I feel like you don't see that a lot.
Yeah. And obviously the Ghostface mask, it's iconic now. Everyone knows what it is. Everyone knows what it's from. So yeah. That was number 4 for me.
For number 4, oh no, I did.
You have 3 now. You're up
3. I'm sorry. 3. I had Nightmare on Elm Street, another classic. I mean, you pretty much said it with Wes Craven.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it on one of our episodes.
We did talk about it. Yeah. Like, I just love like the way like it's just such a creative like idea with Freddy, like how he can just basically do any, like, because there's limitless possibilities, but how he can like manipulate and scare people and stuff. Like, I just love the premise of that, and they get like super creative with it too, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's usually like you fall asleep to escape. This one,
you're supposed to feel safe when you're
yeah, it's taking something that's usually offers you comfort and completely turning it around. It's just like a brilliant idea. So, all right, to get to my top 3, number 3, I had the Stanley Kubrick classic, The Shining. This is just an amazingly made film. It was ahead of its time. It's based off a great Stephen King novel, and you have the obvious amazing performances by both Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall.
Yeah.
It's just a classic. Any horror fan like knows this movie and most likely loves this movie. But I haven't. Not that it's relevant, but I know they made Doctor Sleep, which is like a sequel.
See, apparently it's very good.
Yeah, and apparently it's solid. So I was thinking of checking that out.
Yeah. It's with Ewan McGregor, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how to say it, but
yeah, Kubrick is obviously one of the greatest directors ever, and it's his take on the horror genre. So it worked.
Yeah. So for me, for number 2, I had The Thing, which I know you had earlier, but the best body horror movie I've ever made, in my opinion. I just think, like, just in terms of like what they did, it's such a unique idea to have like this creature like morph into what people look like and imitate their,
Mm-hmm. It's scary.
But
yeah, you don't know who to trust.
It feeds into the paranoia, and even like having the whole setting and in the isolation and the cold, like people feel isolated already, and then now like you can't trust who's next to you. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have that classic like one scene that sticks out with the paranoia aspect is the testing the blood scene.
Yeah,
which that one I always like comes back to me with how like tense it was.
Because you have no idea.
Yeah.
And then like once you find out the other people are strapped in too, which kind of makes it,
Yeah, because now they're stuck there.
Yeah.
So. All right. Yeah, my 2, I have A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy is my favorite horror slasher.
Yeah.
I think he's the coolest. He has the coolest weapon, the finger knives. And in my opinion, Heather Langenkamp as Nancy Thompson, she's my favorite final girl in all of horror. It's her and Sidney Prescott are very close, but I always give Nancy the edge. So along with it being so great and such a great story and so well directed, I also just like have a personal love for like a little bit of bias towards like the characters because I love Freddy and
I mean he's a cool character.
When we were young, you always used to love Jason and I love Freddy, so we would have that little
little banter about it,
that beef of who would win. But yeah, you already talked about it before. We've spoken about it on one of our episodes. So yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure you can guess which one is my number 1. The one I had Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, I saw that coming. No, I saw that coming.
Oh yeah, but probably there's just so much I love about that movie. But it may not be the scariest, but like the themes and this body horror and it pretty much has everything I want in a horror movie. It's quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of expected that out of you. I know. I'm pretty sure I don't know if I introduced you to them, but I feel like I told you to watch Evil Dead 2.
Yes, you or Mike Joseph Richard did. I remember.
Just were you expecting like how it's like it to be like how it was or no?
No, I didn't think it was like because the first one was good. Like I remember seeing the first one, and enjoying it, but like this was like a whole nother level. I feel like.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll get to my number 1, and you might be able to predict this one as well. But I had the 1974 classic, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper, who also did Poltergeist. Some of you may know him from that.
Yeah.
But this is like genuine just fear portrayed on screen in a movie. I don't know when's the last time you watched it, but the last like 20 minutes or so is just like Sally Hardesty basically
screaming,
completely like vulnerable and just screaming and running and she's just so helpless that it's just kind of like scary it's like unnerving to think about like being in that situation and being that helpless. Like all of her friends got killed. And just like that last scene where like Leatherface is chasing her through the bushes and the trees and she ends up escaping. You have that final shot, obviously, of like Leatherface in the sunlight, just like waving around his chainsaw. That became a famous shot. Leatherface himself, obviously, is an iconic horror slasher villain. So when people ask me what's like the scariest movie ever, I point to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it deserves that spot at number 1 for me. So yeah. All right. I guess that was a good recommendation for that list. I enjoyed making that one.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it too. I love horror.
Yeah. So, and speaking of horror, we can get to our final movie of the day, which was suggested by me in our last episode, and it is The Exorcist. So this is a film that is obviously iconic. It is infamous.
Yeah.
It is a movie that, as you mentioned earlier in the episode, there are scenes and dialogue and aspects of this film that are very raunchy and intense and like not something that you think would have came out in the 1973. I'll say that.
I feel like if that came out today, like I don't think they're gonna have any line close to that in the new one.
I don't know.
There's no way.
Maybe. We'll see. But you have iconic performances by Linda Blair, as well as what's the name of the actress who plays the daughter?
I don't know.
Or wait, let me look.
She's not in the new one, right? The daughter.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Ellen Bernstein is the mother, and Linda Blair is the daughter. They're both in the new one that's coming out.
Oh, they both are. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
they haven't shown her in the trailers. The daughter.
No, they haven't. They haven't.
Interesting.
But yeah, this is a movie that watching it, I just felt tense the entire time. Like I mentioned just now on the list, it's like in my top 10 of horror films ever made. It's a movie that was controversial at the time and still probably is controversial.
The look at this, everything surrounding that movie. I don't know if you know, like there was a bunch of like deaths and like shit attached to the movie.
Yeah, two of the actors who were in the movie died like
while filming.
After it was filmed.
Okay.
There was a fire on set. Linda Blair, who was a kid, was getting like death threats and shit after the movie came out.
Just crazy.
Just
because her performance was great.
Yeah, she wasn't eligible for an Oscar. They like submitted her, but because there was someone else who like did the voiceover as the demon, she like wasn't eligible.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid. But it's also just like it's a very slow burn, which I usually don't like in movies, but I think it works very well here with keeping that like tension going. Like once after there's the scene where Reagan like comes downstairs during the party and like wets herself.
Yeah.
And then after that, like shit actually kicks up.
Yeah.
I think the makeup was really good for the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like her spinning her head around is an iconic.
That was like
scene.
a big deal, yeah, right.
People like were apparently like walking out of theaters when the shit came out.
Really?
Yeah. I do like how they kind of explain the demon too a little bit, where how it's like brought in from this
like
ancient like archaeological site, where there was a lot of scenes like, or there was one particular scene in the beginning where they're at that like, I forget what planet, or not, I'm sorry, planet. I forget what country it was. Was it Iran?
It looked like some type of like Middle Eastern.
It said it at the beginning. But there's this one shot of like once he finds that thing, the guy, he's like walking, and it's just like complete silence. You don't hear the sound of his footsteps. You don't hear anything, and it's just like it's so eerie, and it has a lot to do with the sound design and just like how the movie was edited in like post production. There's a lot of things like that. The music also is meant to cause tension in you. There's like that classic theme.
Piano, like the I know what you're talking
about. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, the film basically follows this. It's a single mother, right?
Yeah.
I forget what happens to the father.
He's in Europe, she said, or something.
Yeah, something. But she's friends with this dude who was the guy at the beginning who uncovered this ancient demon. And he hangs out with her at her crib, whatever. It's shown off screen, but like his name is mentioned a bunch. And then all of a sudden her daughter starts acting weird. And it turns out that like the demon possessed her. And it's them basically coming to terms with the fact that she needs an exorcism. Like they try to do all these medical things, and nothing works.
Nothing happens.
What was that scene where they put like the thing in her neck and like the blood came out? What
That's
medical?
That's like a. It looks like they were putting like almost like a cat, some type of like pick line in her neck. It's probably I don't know why they did it because we don't do that now. I guess like back then. It was probably because she was getting a scan, so they probably were giving her dye through the CAT scan. But you don't have to do it in the neck. I don't know. They probably just did it there just to make it like,
yeah,
like effect for the movie.
Yeah, but yeah, the movie basically just follows like this daughter Reagan and like how the mother reacts to her getting possessed and eventually getting worse and worse. My favorite character, this might surprise you, but it's actually the priest, Father Karras.
Yeah, I remember you were saying that. Yeah,
I liked his storyline the best. How his mother dies, and he's struggling with that. He's struggling with his faith. He's struggling with alcoholism.
Yeah,
and it was like interesting how the demon targets him, and he's like very weak at the end.
Yeah,
like mentally. The demon specifically targets him, saying like, "Oh, your mother." I think one of the lines like, "Your mother sucks cocks in hell."
In hell, your mother. It's like
yeah.
That's another thing. Like the lot of lines, like the girl would be like, "Fuck me," and like all this crazy shit. Like for at the time, I can't believe they would like do that.
I know it is like pretty insane.
Yeah,
but I guess it's supposed to show like these demons just say like the most vile thing that they can. But yeah, and spoilers. He's my favorite character, and to get to my favorite scene, it's the ending. So he basically
when he gets possessed,
he basically is like hates this demon so much and is like trying to save Reagan so much that he's willing to die to get the demon out of her. So he basically allows himself to get the demon passed to him and then kills himself while he's possessed by jumping out the window. Which I thought was like a crazy way to end his character arc.
Yeah.
But it just made me love like his character that much more. So I wonder in this Legacy sequel, The Exorcist Believer, like how they're gonna explain the demon coming back.
I don't know. But it's interesting that it's two people now.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a trilogy, right?
Yeah. So we'll see. But they could also like if it doesn't do well, I'm sure they could backtrack on that.
I wonder what the budget was.
Did you have a favorite character though in this?
Honestly, her mom, Chrissy, right? That's her name.
Yeah.
Like I just thought her performance was so good.
Yeah, I like this.
I mean, obviously, like her and what's her name? The girl's name.
Reagan,
yeah, were like fantastic. But I mean, the mom, I don't know. The mom I enjoyed her performance the most.
Mm-hmm. What about was there a scene that stuck out to you?
I mean, the head spinning scene was like pretty, pretty big. But I feel like I don't know. Like when she throws up that green shit, like there's a lot of the possession scenes. I feel like I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, definitely. They were just insane. I actually like the scene. It is like very kind of like messed up, but where she's like shoving the crucifix
up her vagina,
yeah, and it's like all bloody shit, and then her head just turns around, and she's like looking straight at her mother, and like the mom is just so like helpless. She doesn't know what the fuck to do. That's when that's like after that scene is when she realizes like like I need an
this isn't something. Yeah.
And I thought it was just like a really well done scene. That's also when the head turns around. It happens during like the same part. Yeah. But again, very graphic, very disturbing kind of stuff. This is one of the like most disturbing films probably I've ever seen. I would say.
And the fact that it came out like over 40 years ago is crazy.
Yeah.
There's not really saying much about the budget. It says 400 million, but there's no way that's true.
For this or for the new one?
For the new one.
Nah, there's no way.
No way. Distribution rights for 400 million total. That's for them to distribute like all three movies.
So you divide that by 3 and then add that onto the production budget for the movie. So it's probably.
This says 2 and 3 could premiere on Peacock exclusively, but I doubt they'll do that if they even get to.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to think back to this movie. It is a very like straightforward story, like it's just you progressively go on with this mother-daughter.
It is a slow burn.
Yeah. That is one of the problems I have with it. I mean, I didn't mind it here, like I mentioned. I don't usually like slow burns, but I think the story could have happened a little bit quicker. They could have got to her being possessed a little bit quicker, I think, because that doesn't happen until like about halfway through. So.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's really it.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have a strong stomach to watch this.
Watch this one.
Say that. But to get to my ratings for it, I gave it a 4.5 star, 9 out of 10. Very close to a 10 for me. Just because of like this cultural significance that it has and how ahead of its time it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I gave it a 4 stars, so it's still very good. But I don't know. If it was a little bit of maybe it's just I'm too impatient, but a little bit of a slow burn for me. Not that it made it bad, but I don't know.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, people think it's haunted too, so we'll see if something crazy happens now that we watched it.
And we're both going to well, not together actually, but we're going to Universal, and they have the haunted house for the Exorcist, so I feel like that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah. We'll talk about that stuff
when we get to it. Yeah. Well, that episode, I mean, you may have seen it. Because I don't know if when are we recording for that one? It's not next week, right?
We'll figure that out.
Low key, I think it is because we have
oh wait, is it?
Because this week is no,
it's not.
Because we record the 29th. You're right.
Yeah, because we're gonna get back on. We've been the last 2 weeks we released on Wednesdays just because of like schedules and you were away. Yeah. But the next episode's gonna be back to normally scheduled on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay.
Which will be Saw X and what was the other one? The Creator.
The Creator. I think that's actually pretty stacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever and you recommend later. But I want to do a Q&A quick. I don't think we have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So I put the thing up late. Okay. From Rob.imp. Rob's coming in. Thank you, Rob, for the questions. What is the best lesson/message you've ever learned from a movie? Okay. This is a great question.
It's a good, yeah.
I have one that I have like 2 that come off, or 3 maybe, to the top of my head. One, Eternal Sunshine, is that the lesson of that movie is that you need the pain and the traumatic experiences you go through to
make the person you are.
Yep, and you can't erase them, quote unquote. You can't shut that stuff out. You have to embrace it and embrace your trauma in order to, improve yourself. And I think that the first time, like, that I watched it when I was a little bit younger, was at a point where that was like a message that I needed to hear,
Yeah.
So that's why that movie has always stuck with me, specifically. Not to get too deep on here, but
no, but I know what you mean.
Anything for you or
for me? I mean, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Honestly, the theme behind Mother is something that really. Hold on. I know it's not. It's like kind of like a, climate change type of. I know it's like kind of generic, but with the idea of like us just kind of abusing the earth over and over.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pretty, like, it made me realize, like, oh shit, like, because it is right, like, that we just kind of destroy the earth with no, like, repercussions or anything like that. I mean, now, but, so, that really stuck with me, even though it's kind of generic.
Yeah.
I don't know, did you see he's directing a new movie, but it's only coming out in that, like, giant globe in Vegas?
Yeah, I did see that.
It's like some Earth movie, I think, right?
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm trying to think if I got any more lessons here.
Yeah.
Also, I guess 500 Days of Summer. That's more of like relationship advice, kind of.
Yeah.
Just that, like, you can't force someone to love you. You could, you know, someone who doesn't believe in love, like in that movie, is what the fuck's the girl's name? I forget. But anyways, throughout the movie, she's telling him, like, I don't believe in love, I don't believe in soulmates, this and that, and then by the end, she's like, wait, you were right about love. It's just that I don't love you. I love someone else, and it's kind of like you got to just be able to understand that, people
I
are.
feel like 500 Days of Summer is another good one for that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And then that's more of like relationship though. That's not like life in general. But let me think, because there's definitely some good lessons out there. I don't know. Whatever. I think I gave 2 pretty good ones. So, all right. Well, thanks, Rob, for the question.
Yeah, that's a good question, Bert.
We need some more questions from other folks. If you're listening right now, ask us a question on our next episode. Just follow us on Instagram. We post the questions. So, or we post the question poll. So, all right, that'll wrap up episode 32. So if you want to recommend the movie for episode 33, Joe, and then I have a list that I want to do top 10 next week.
So I'm actually gonna recommend a movie that you really like, called Come and See, which is a war movie. Which it's not an American movie, right?
No, it's in Russian.
Yeah, it's about Russian soldiers during World War II.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so I going to Austria and Germany, I did a lot of tours about like World War II. We were able to go to a concentration camp, and we learned a lot about just the war and like how brutal it was. So I kind of want a lot of people make film, people like express those views in film and stuff like that, and I just kind of wanted to see something and that was involved with that type of thing, and everyone's told me this is like one of the best war movies ever made.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of the best movies
you've seen it, right?
Ever in general. Yeah, this one, carve out a time to watch it. It's 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's not in English, and it's a very like tough watch.
Yeah.
It's like very depressing and very like.
Is it World War II or it's?
Yeah, it is. It's like either during the Holocaust or like leading up to the Holocaust. So there's a lot to do with like how the Jews were treated, and
is the main character Jewish?
I don't think he is, but I don't really remember. Yeah, I watched it a long time ago, a couple years ago, with some of my friends at school. But yeah, it's a tough watch.
Yeah, you like war movies though.
Yeah, and this is one of my favorite movies of all time. I honestly wasn't planning on checking it out again anytime soon, just because of like how messed up it is. But I'll do it for the podcast. It must be done
for the pod.
So, all right, yeah, that'll be a very interesting discussion, and I think you'll enjoy the movie. So, all right, and then for the top 10 for next episode, I was thinking we could do your top 10 favorite trilogies.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you'll have 10. I think I have 10, but
I probably could find 10.
Yeah, I feel like that'll be a pretty cool one.
Yeah.
There'll be a couple like superhero ones probably on there, like Dark Knight trilogy and things like that, but that'll be interesting. So,
there's there's 2 Spider-Man ones off the top.
Yeah. All right, well, thanks everyone for listening to episode 32. We'll be back not this Sunday, but the Sunday after with episode 33, where we'll discuss Saw X, the creator, and Come and See. Yeah. So
very excited for the creator.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for listening. Follow us on our socials. Follow us on Letterboxd, Twitter/X, Instagram, all that shit. Yeah. So goodbye.
Peace.